Jeremy Ellis here. I'm going to show you what you can do after the hour of code. We're going to use Cloud9 to set up a GitHub site. It's my GitHub site. And the Phonegap developer app that allows you to make web pages and convert the code to Android or iOS devices. So here we go. I'm just going to give myself a login, an email, choose a password, and create the account. Okay, looks like it's all done. I should have an email reasonably soon. While it's doing that, most of you probably finished your hour of code. You've learned about repeat and if statements and maybe if-else statements. So what we're going to be doing here is the next step. So let's go in here, username, Roxetta, password, and we're going to sign in. So we get to a dashboard, and we already have a demo project. Now we are going to create from URL. We're going to clone from URL, and this is where you need this. I'll put the link in the video, but basically it's going to be that with .git on. You can come over here and click, and that will copy it. Let's get back to my dashboard. So I'm going to paste it right there. Notice it's the URL for my GitHub site with .git on it. I'm going to click on Node and let's create it. It'll take a little bit of time to create it. So what is in this GitHub site? It has a Cloud9 JS file that will run all of this. It has a www folder with an index file. It has some basic web page stuff on it. And let's just go back to the dashboard and see if it's done. It looks like it's done, so we're going to start editing. And here it is. It looks like it got the GitHub all working fine. We've got a little welcome sign there. I'm just going to click down here and npm, this is in the terminal, npm install. Now, it's going to take a couple minutes because it's going to read this file. You double click on files to see what they do, which is going to install. It's going to check that Node is installed, and there's the Node, and it's going to install something called Connect and Connect Phonegap. And it'd be nice if it actually started this, but for some reason it doesn't. So I'll show you that step later. Let's let that thing go on, and here's a little blurb about this is my site called Roxetta. It's kind of a music for beginners sort of thing. Has some very easy way of playing songs. One is a numbered way, and the other is music letters. And it does some shapes, and it has some sheet music, and you can download your music. Anyway, let's see if Cloud9's working. Okay, it seems to be working. So we're going to double click on the Cloud9 and let's see if run runs it. You can always stop it. I suggest very young people stop their sites, but as long as you're mature on the internet, you should be able to keep it running. So we're going to preview that, and let's see there. It seems to be up and running. I'll make this full screen. So this is what it makes. And this is very important because that is the URL you are going to plug into your Phonegap developer app. I'll show that in a bit. What's on this page? Some simple web basics. YouTube video should pop up in a second. Let's refresh that page. That's kind of interesting. And it's got tables, just basic web page kind of stuff, a very simple table, a very simple list, all kinds of things. Now these that say not yet working, those are for students to try. Each assignment has something you should do, some instructions on things to try out. So let's go back here and look at these ones that, they're the ones that are set up. Everything's in folders, so you can move them around. If you had a problem with a folder and your whole site was crashed, you could move it into the not yet folder. I'm going to move this JavaScript folder into there and the CSS folder into there. So when I'm viewing it, there's CSS. It has a couple of CSS things, some way of writing on images and borders and some kind of things to do. So let's start looking at some, here's some JavaScript things that you can do. It has instructions, has some reasonably advanced things where you can find out information about your browser. So let's look at some of the advanced stuff you can do. Remember in Cloud 9 there was a demo project? Well, I'm going to go in and start editing that. I'm going to go back to my one. Here's AJAX. The AJAX folder has a file, a rather simple file called AJAX here. I'm going to copy that, and it's called AJAX.php. Well, let's go into our demo folder. What happened? There's our demo folder. It already has PHP working, so I'm going to right click, make a new file called AJAX.php and double click into it, and hopefully I can paste. Looks like you have to use Control V. Whoa, that didn't work. Let's go back into this one. I guess Control C is a good thing to use. Control V, there we go. So we'll save that with Control S, and let's run it. See if we can get this running. Starting the Apache. So this is just a PHP. It's going to return a random number. I'm just using that so I can prove that AJAX on our app is working. So let's see if that one's working. We go in there. Let's put in our AJAX.php, and it didn't find it, which is kind of weird. Maybe it needs the www. No, what would it need? Maybe it needs php/. There we go. So there's our random number, and there's the URL for the random number. So I'm going to come back here. I've got two AJAX programs. One more advanced. Let's see if I can shrink this down. And here's where the URL is supposed to go. So I'm going to throw in that URL I just got, which is on my site here. And let's save that, Control S. Let's go to the simpler one. There's our AJAX for this one. And save that. Go to our file. Here we have AJAX. So AJAX is where you can stay on the page and it's sending information to your server. So let's see what happens. I'm just going to type something. There, gave me a random number. I'm typing something, giving me another random number. I can do this in JavaScript, make random numbers, but this is actually grabbing it from the server. This is a little bit more advanced one. Once again, each time I hit one of these boxes, it generates a new random number from the server. That is also on Cloud 9. It's reasonably advanced stuff. Please note that here there are some green things that say only for mobile devices. only for mobile devices. Those are plugins which allow you to control the camera on your mobile device, the accelerometer, sound, and these things can work on both iOS and Android and Win 8 devices. So I'm going to switch over and show it on the device. Let's just recap what we've done. Done quite a bit. We've got AJAX going. I'm just going to drag some more of these not yet workings into the WW folder so that you could see what some of these things are. I'll show you right here. Let's see, we've got some 3D images. Let's see how they work. Let it load. Open the files there. Let's go back, try something else. Animated game. Touchscreen should be able to fire. Yep, firing something. So it's all the basic starting stuff for a game. Let's see if I can get one of my 3D images working. Oh, there we go. These are things you'd make in Blender, 3D images on web pages, and eventually we'll try getting them going on Android, iOS devices. There's some CSS, just all kinds of things you can do. So I'm going to stop this and show you on a device. So here we go, the Samsung device with the Phonegap developer app already loaded. Now here's a bit of a pain. You've got to actually enter that URL that was visible on the web page. And here we have on an iPad, same thing, the URL. So let's hit connect and see what we've got. Same thing, but this isn't very impressive because it could be just a web page. But it's actually a live app. Let's see if the accelerometer works. And for some reason this isn't working on the iPhone 5, but check that out. You really cannot do that on a web page where I'm actually tilting the iPad and the plugins working. Let's try on the Android device. Same thing, let's try the accelerometer. And I'll try to get it fixed for the iPhone 5. I don't know why it's not working on that. But this is kind of my basis for these, is get something working so that the kids can actually see what computer programming can do. There are all kinds of other plugins. One of them, the sound one, is... Oh, that's interesting. I must not have set that up properly. But here, web basics. Anyone knows how to program web pages? Oh, and there's that video which is showing up now. Images, local image, YouTube video, and these are all on the app. Let's see if that one will actually work. And that's just some old video I made, which my Wi-Fi is a bit slow, but there we go. And that's it. iPad, Android, set up within a few minutes using the Phonegap developer app, my GitHub site, and Cloud9.